re-emphasize what their strengths are. As Cop said, be the aggressive team and get to TSM before they can scale.
It's worked for them when they were aggressive. We'll see if this champ play is any different from number 2, where Immortals had sent 5 straight bans at Bjergsen. Orianna was one of the 3 they put in the first phase. Kalista was TSM's first ban as well. Always curious to see if strategies do change. Previously it was Taliyah and Syndra that joined the ban club from Immortals. Actually, Jarvan going to be removed from them, the champion they had played exclusively so far this series.
And this means they have a different first pick in mind. They did give over Xayah and Rakan the last time they first picked Jarvan on blue side, so I think that would be the pick that they're now trying to force TSM to ban.
See if TSM actually pick up the slack there on the Rakan ban. Kog'Maw does come through as before.
Changes the texture a little bit, then Lucian or Cassiopeia will be allowed through, unlike in this previous side game in game 2 here. So we'll see what the new choices end up being as well. Immortals could also drop some more of the mid lane bans. 8 seconds to go. What will Immortals' final ban of phase 1 be? Syndra. So Taliyah left up from the previous time. We know that Kassadin has been seen as a counter pick. Bjergsen played it earlier in the series.
Cassiopeia is also a pick that's available. Lucian is a pick that's available. A lot of mid lane bans actually being dropped in favor of other mid lane bans that Bjergsen has succeeded on this series, trying to make him prove himself on multiple picks.
I have to think, if TSM don't ban the Rakan themselves as well, Cody Sun and Olleh would be happy to play that duo. Let's see how much they actually value the champion, or if it is one of those mid laners.
This is the first time Lucian is now available for Pobelter. TSM has banned it 3 of the 4 games now at this point. The Taliyah left up. That's the Immortals ban that they dropped off before. And again, the Rakan we've seen mentioned a couple of times here. Do they want to give that over to Biofrost? And they grab it.
Yeah, I mean...
No, the Xayah, actually.
Whoa! So
they're going to leave Trist up.
This is interesting right now. They're either saying desync Xayah Rakan by picking Rakan right here with something else like Trist, or give it over to us. I'm a little perplexed by this choice, but if they were to have picked the Rakan themselves, then you're then forcing TSM to pick Xayah without the support. So I'm surprised, to say the least, about that choice.
Yeah, I'm not sure it is the dominant choice, but it's what they're going to go for. The Rakan's still going to be grabbed up by Biofrost, and it's going to leave Cody Sun with a little bit less power on this roll, not the extra damage out of the W. Trist, Rakan, TSM continuing to pick their bot lane early on in the draft.
Is this counter of choice again going to be the Tahm Kench to try and devour the engagements from Rakan here, or is this all for another champion for Olleh, the Alistar, one of his best?
Alistar is given over, so the bot lane's grabbed early on. Immortals get one more pick in this phase. TSM the same, but TSM get counterpick, and that Lucian is left up. It's heavy physical damage here from Immortals, but they do have picks that they were not allowed before, as COrki's going to match up.
Exactly, lots of the things that are banned, and Lucian is slightly favored in the COrki matchup as far as early lane shove, being able to dodge a lot of the COrki skill shots with Relentless Pursuit. So Immortals get a lot of the power picks, as you mentioned, they haven't been able to control, and Olleh specifically now on a big tank playmaker for Immortals.
And now ban phase 2 begins. TSM starts with it. Kennen actually seeing, because again, it's a double physical damage team. There's magic damage required somewhere in the comp, or you tank it forever with a Gragas and a Renekton in the top lane or something like this. So AP Kennen has started to see a little bit of play up there in the top lane, removed off the table.
Exactly, you see it a lot in those like triple pushing compositions that want 3 ranged attackers.
Elise still available as well. If this one sneaks through the second ban phase, that would be something we've seen often with Lucian that really gets the game going very early if you are trying to snowball.
As TSM targets Sejuani, it feels like a bit of a one-sided ban. We'll see if that comes through.
Gragas and Sejuani available right now. If you pinch one for TSM with the ban here, they would force another. The Elise ban, though,
does come
which means the Gragas and Sejuani can be traded.
Looking at pick stats, there have been 3 Sejuani games out of the TSM jungler. We already know Xmithie's good at it himself, so it's not one-sided necessarily. One final ban, though, in phase 2. What does Immortals want to get rid of? TSM have first dibs in this phase of picks. And Maokai actually going to fall off the list as well, so they're removing the heaviest tanks they can so that Immortals' backline marksman can actually pierce through.
Yeah, I feel like it's really interesting what these teams have done in phase 2 of the ban phase. TSM banning champions that haven't seen the ban phase yet, this series, but specifically target comps they don't want to play against with Immortals, whether it be the triple ranged attacker or the early overtake of the jungle by Elise. And then Immortals, very hard going at Hauntzer, saying, no matter how many carry items we build on our two guys, we haven't been able to kill his super tanks. Let's just get rid of super tanks to the best of our ability.
So the tank junglers are traded back and forth, and there's still a magic damage dealer available in the Rumble. It does allow TSM to counterpick top lane. Who's gonna handle Flame's flamethrower? 15 seconds ago till TSM can secure it. Will it be the Jace? Will it be something else? Gnar, of course, seen some successful play as well.
Gnar is the most likely choice, but you could see some flash here. It's the Gnar.
Still a frontliner. It's still a tank, and it still has a decent landing phase. We'll see if that comes through. It's certainly not as durable a frontline. It's no Cho'Gath, and it's no Braum, no Alistar.
The Gnar versus Rumble matchup actually got even better for Gnar recently, and it is still a lot about the race to Hex Drinker, but Hauntzer definitely should be feeling very comfortable about this matchup. Flame kind of forced into this pick to balance out the damage types. We'll see if the junglers can have any early intervention up there. Sejuani is actually quite well situated to gank the Gnar. Some champions, like Rek'Sai, like Sejuani, good at interrupting him if he gets a little bit too far forward.
He can land it. We'll see if Xayah Alistar can stand up as Immortals hopes to win a laning phase against TSM down here in the bot lane. The teams, again, have been very closely matched so far today. But Immortals' backs are against the wall. It's double match point for TSM. That trophy on the line. TSM's 6th North American Championship. They've won 5 of the 9 they've played in so far. Here's number 10. We'll see if Immortals can, again, add their banner to the list of the 3 other North American winners.
All right, this is it. Hauntzer said he wanted to prove that he was the best top laner in all of North America. Now he gets counterpick on the Gnar. Can he be the big strength for TSM?
Things to see. Double tank for Immortals. 2.5 kind of for TSM. Rakan takes a while to get there. A double marksman for both of these sides, but a different damage texture, of course. It's a mix for TSM. Immortals going to rely on Flame to be magic damage at all.
Yeah, such an interesting conclusion to that draft with the Kennen and Elise bans coming up from Parth, leaving up the Sejuani that Xmithie did hard carry a game with. Shows a lot of confidence in his team. And once again, eyes turn towards jungle routes in the early game.
And my eyes were the mid lane as well. Pobelter, this is the first time all series he's been allowed to play Lucian. Was the TSM fright over that champion really correct here in this? Chose to leave it up to ban other things. Cody Sun waiting in Tri-Brush. That's a really silly one. Gets knocked up into the air. Exhaust and Ignite Burn. And this one, as he flashes away, he's going to get out. Very strange to jump out of the brush and walk back in.
Yeah, walk out of the bush for no reason before he saw anyone, and then you're denying yourself all of the vision.
Yeah.
In the end, it is 2 summoners technically for 1, but flash much longer cooldown, more important.
Yeah, 2 hits were applied to that ward that Immortals placed in the top side, so Immortals will still maintain vision up there, but having no flash as the AD carry in the early game against a Rakan can be very risky, but he did get the Ignite out as well, so the kill pressure technically lower in the all-ins if Cody Sun decides to stand and fight.
Yep, until that 4-minute mark. We'll see if that changes back then. Immortals going to get a red buff start for Xmithie. Looks to be a very similar path to before with that Hunter's Machete start. TSM going to look for a play.
TSM knows where he starts from the last game.
This is not a super leash, though. Sejuani's not starting on the Raptors. Xmithie here should be very comfortable in finishing the red. The big part of that duo invade is if the other team is split.
TSM winning the fan vote to very little surprise. Sven looks like he's done Raptors and a red buff. Now actually just red buff itself was the first camp. Finishes that now, but a little bit slower. Nice knockup out of Cody Sun, means some damage, but DoubleLift not in range to land any autos. The minions are knocked down.
Still a very good trade to go for. There's no counter damage for Immortals to throw back during that, and Biofrost gets to use his shield there. So TSM early control over this bottom lane due to that pull.
Almost that kill out of that Drinker Ward, but it's going to stay alive and give a bit of lane pressure. Xmithie going to grab this blue without much issue and still has the smite. Gromp's going to be his target.
Yeah, buff to buff into Gromp, same route he played in the first matchup, but the departure for Svenskeren is he started red buff to prevent the 3 camp that Xmithie had pulled off earlier. Not to mention, Rumble will be shoving early on in the lane, so Hauntzer's got to remember what happened last time, try to take as little poke as possible, and then just get the CS at the turret.
Right, you feel so much more comfortable once you get to your Hex Drinker, and then Gnar can look to go aggressive. Remember, this is Flame's first Rumble game of the entire split for Immortals, though. People are talking about so much concentration on the Renekton, on the Kled, on the Jarvan, even the Shen, but he definitely still has the capabilities here.
Nice word, can track some of Sven's movements. Doesn't get ganked for it, of course, but it's actually Sven looking in the bottom side to trade for this. The barrel not going to land in time, gets one of the small ones. Xmithie going to knock down these Raptors and loses very little, to be honest. Double buffs on both these junglers. And with the knowledge of Sven, it means Flame can play a bit more aggressive. Pretty equal farm for both these top laners.
Yeah, little counter jungle moves like that can have a big impact when you're talking about who gets to bomb you Cinder first. Look at that re-engage, though.
Headbutt and then into the pulverizing the two of them, but not a ton of damage dealt either way. And with sustain tools for pretty much all 4 players in that lane, it won't mean too much. But Pobelter getting pretty rough trade against him, though good damage out of Bjergsen. But here comes Xmithie, he's going to find DoubleLift, going to knock him towards, and now he's going to get away without being stunned up. But you've got to watch out for this one. The pulverize in, the pullback, they got it! First blood comes through! Olleh grabs with the uppercut.
Immortals give the Rakan over in Champion Select, and then they take him down on Summoner's Rift with the first blood here. Xmithie continues to invade.
I think he knows that Sven is there. That ward just in range to spot it. Level 4 on the Gragas and walks right by and says, hello, I'm out leveling you, but the kill, of course, worth it here as Immortals up 700 gold, a solid laning phase early on.
Unfortunately for them, the last tick there did go to Olleh, and he'll be the one with the gold on Alistar. Regardless, very good for them to get it. They separate the two duo laners, then there's no extra escape for Biofrost, goes down.
Yeah, probably unnecessary for Olleh to take that
He was flashless.
Yeah, they had already seen him burn the flash and his cooldowns on the attempt to save DoubleLift, but getting those boots of mobility, we'll see where Olleh spends that first blood gold right now, because quick pink ward opts against the Sightstone, wants to make plays.
Ooh, body slam, the flash is going to land, the flash out for Pobelter, exhaust out for the slow Summoner, healed it by some distance, and he will survive it, but Double Summoner's down to the mid lane.
Olleh was already heading towards the mid lane as well, so maybe there's going to be a counter here.
Bjergsen's out of mana, he cannot Valkyrie away.
Still super risky with how low Pobelter is, and Bjergsen still has flash. The best they could hope for would be burning flash, and Olleh calls it off.
Biofrost looks to check the brush with the Gleaming Quill, doesn't find anything.
Is he going to find the control ward and get a lot of value out of this little visit?
Olleh might go for Biofrost here. Bjergsen still can threaten.
Olleh could flash for it, he's going to headbutt him into the wall. Pulverize first, headbutts him towards the lane, but be careful, there's still a COrki nearby. And
it's because Pobelter's so low from that last gank, so Olleh tried to save the control ward right there, but really can't make much happen.
Pobelter's going to go for a little bit of poke and try not to get auto-attacked by Bjergsen anymore, and he's going to be okay on this one. Doran's Blade gives him the sustain to keep auto-attacking. Xmithie going to grab this Scuttle, but he's still a level behind right now against Sven on this Gragas. A ward to watch the gank routes, and won't necessarily see Sven, but in this case it will as he hugs the bottom side. And he doesn't know that he's seen by this ward because there was no tell ever from Flame. Flame knows, but Sven doesn't know he knows.
It is always, worth pointing out how these players don't give away any locations, any unnecessary information. Both top laners have been playing.
Look at that pink, they know he went there.
Completely focused on farming. Gragas is a little bit too thick to sneak into the side bush.
Flame actually pretty decent early laning phase. Didn't succumb to any Rumble failures from the past where you push up too far, get ganked, and then dove repeatedly by the tank jungler and the Gnar. So going to be able to get his haunting guys if he wants, or defensive item.
Yep. There's that Hex Drinker, though, comes in for Hauntzer.
The superior Alistar skin.
That's true. Biofrost still did win with his inferior one, so who knows, Marauder Alistar undefeated in this series. Now it goes double over the wall. You can screw that up, by the way. It's possible to hit rocket jump the wrong spot and go nowhere. So DoubleLift, of course, proper aim of that rocket jump, he's fine.
A lot of deep wards as well, even though that was a funny little invade from Olleh, and he was performing a musical
interlude
art there. Yeah. He also, the operative was to get those deep wards down, so they will see Svenskeren if he traverses over to the bottom side. Currently, Sven, though, is on top side getting red, and Xmithie's on the opposite red.
Biofrost is flashless and no ulti for DoubleLift.
Very squishy Rakan here, but No reason for them to get aggressive right now. This would just be a brute force dive.
All right,
Xmithie
going in, TP's available. Here comes the team. All 5 could be in this one for Immortals. They're gonna get the stun in the point blank range. Headbutt pulverize. Equalizer on top. Hoping to equalize the scoreline of this game. The stun turned around the DoubleLift. Absolute perfection. A double kill for Flame now as Hauntzer forced back to the turret. Cooling is on. Dance to the side. Gnar's running out of health. But now a 5v2 behind the turret. The flash to headbutt him into the wall. The pulverize, he gets away with the flash though. Jumps back to the side. Explosive cast doesn't find much of anything. Now Flame being slowed down. Somebody heal to keep him alive. The clock tower thrown at him as well. Gonna stay alive though. 2 kills unanswered in the bot lane.
Immortals pull it off this time. Clean couple kills there for themselves as they teleport down and bring everybody to the party.
And absolutely no hesitation when setting up this play. Xmithie hits 6, immediately pass towards the bottom side. They go for the flashless person, and then when Flame's equalizer comes down, they CC chain DoubleLift in the equalizer to help secure the double kill.
Beautiful stuff at Immortals. We kind of have seen from how these games have played, they need to snowball the early game leads. They're often tenacious and quick when they do get those early advantages. Let's see if they can push it forward here.
After a chaotic bottom lane dive like that, sometimes it's hard to remember what summoners were blown in it though, and those cooldowns are going to be very important after the replay.
Watching this one more time, Xmithie so patient with his ultimate, gets the stun onto Biofrost, but then Olleh, the playmaking Alistar, gets the E-stun with the auto attack on a double to secure. And then at this point, Hauntzer TP's into a bad situation and almost gets eliminated by Pobelter, and I actually think TSM a little bit fortunate to get out of this one without a 3rd casualty.
Rumble has such a huge impact teleporting into bottom lane team fights this early on. Always used to talk about the dragon setups, but this dive very well executed. See what Immortals can do, because the champion selects seem to go what they wanted, you know, heading into this series. Now we'll see what they can do with that early lead.
Flame putting his gold towards defensive stats early on, got an arm guard, but now going towards haunting guys. We've seen someone go for tanky boots as well. We'll see what Flame chooses on this Rumble.
Yeah, currently no need to go defensive. He hasn't been bullied around by Hauntzer. Hauntzer did the defensive buy with the Hex Drinker to try and equalize that lane a little bit. And with the 2 kills, he's gonna have that power spike advantage.
Hauntzer also went with the more team-focused counter pick in the top lane instead of going for the 1v1 counter, Jace,
Nice
something
rock
like
jump.
that.
Buffered well by Double, gets away with that one, but now a stun. The Blade Color nearly gets him, but gets the way just in time. Biofrost out of range.
Still both ultimates up for Immortals bottom lane, so that lane down bottom is gonna get worse before it gets better for TSM. A lot of pressure will be applied. Pobelter has the shove in that mid lane. He has the lifesteal advantage and the blue buff, so he can keep shoving in Bjergsen without taking too much damage. And Xmithie just laser focused down here, walks their ward, but they don't really care.
This is the turret. Post level 6 Alistar. Olleh is ready to charge through.
Ooh. This is Olleh's comfort zone.
Yes.
On Alistar, not Tom Kench.
Well, it's going to be the play towards the mid lane. Xmithie looking for the play. Valkyrie's been used, which means the ulti could land. Not going to go for the play. Turret will go over solo. First turret gold plus 650 to Cody Sun. He is massively far ahead of DoubleLift right now, but there's a re-engage towards the mid side. Xmithie. Damage reduction will not last too long on that passive. He's okay though.
Yeah, we're kind of in this lull right now as the teleports come back up for the top laners, and we could potentially see another play. The bottom turret has already been taken by Immortals, and they have that point of strength with the Essence Reaver completed, as well as the Boots of Mobility Alistar roaming around. Wherever they go next is usually where we'll see the action, and it's on TSM to disrupt that power play by Immortals and not let it happen.
Right now, though, TSM pushing in the bottom lane, and the minions will have to be answered. So right back up to pick up the farm first for Immortals. They're holding on to this gold lead. They don't want to give anything back to TSM before they're fully allowed to reset. Remember all those flashes I talked about being burned in the bottom lane plays. They're all coming back up now. We could be ready for round number 2.
See who comes in. Xmithie's still waiting around, and his mid lane is going to be back in here, but Bjergsen's already recalling, so no play to be had in the mid lane. Gold lead nearly 3,000 for Immortals. Wanting to bring it to game 5. See if they can.
They can definitely start to force things around this dragon. They've already pushed up the minion wave. The turret is down. They have a lot of control. You see all the wards through the river. They're actually using those wards to move in onto mid lane here.
Xmithie has such position that they could consider a dive, and DoubleLift is just in this hole down in the bottom lane. CSing, and that's giving a 5v4 essentially on the map temporarily while those minions get pushed in.
Yep. We're going to play for this red buff here. Control where Xmithie really wants to take over the side of the map. Here comes Olleh. The squad is around. Cody Sun's here as well. DoubleLift not going to be able to answer easily. Smite comes in. Plus the Pulverize looking for the ulti. They're going to land it. The burst damage almost gets Biofrost. He gets away though. The grand entrance. Bjergsen a bit alone, but there's no dive to be had as Alistar didn't have the cooldowns available.
Good disengage there from Svenskeren, able to save him.
Yeah, no casualties for TSM, and they get a lot of free time actually CSing in the side lanes. About 500 gold worth of creeps that now Immortals needs to go catch. So, yes, they did lose the red buff and the ultimate of Gragas, but Immortals spent a fair bit on that as well, with Sejuani ultimate going down.
Maybe TSM has a window for themselves. Right now, Rift Guard being attacked. Sven spotted out in the wards, headbutt Pulverize lands. Here comes the chase in. The auto's going to land quickly. They got to land the Suns. They do it so well. That was beautiful. Even Cody Sun gets the kill, his first of the game.
Again, no hesitation. The all-star squad here from Immortals, Xmithie and Olleh, instantly engage on Svenskeren, grabs the extra kill, and then he actually retreats right back to the Rift Herald while they push the mid lane.
It's going to be difficult for TSM to deal with that combo. I want to say again how well executed that combo was by Xmithie and Olleh. They are chaining their CCs so well. Olleh goes in for the Pulverize. Xmithie gets the next knockup. That gives time for the trample to time for Olleh for the auto attack stun. Then they detonate the permafrost. So they're just layering their CC with that duo whenever they catch someone with the first CC.
It'll be Herald picked up pretty early on, and this time around it's... Well, Sven's still got the ulti to stop the channel. There's always a chance that comes through, but it's a good target. Gets hit, mid lane a little bit low actually. It might just die to a single charge, so could be an easy target for Immortals. It is a little injured. Yeah, that's roughly Rift Heraldable, so you can hit that from any time. Rift Herald turns off backdoor bonus by itself. You just need Bjergsen to recall, and that turret's basically gone.
Bunch of deep wards also laid down by Immortals through the red quadrant. Again, we saw Xmithie focusing so much in their victory on this top triangle of the map, continuing to invade TSM, continuing to try and carve out some territory on the top side. Again, they have a lot of that true side to work with and create those snap plays where we just saw Olleh, starting off that initiation and grabbing the kill.
It's definitely the best first 15 minutes Immortals has played in this series. Trying to play towards their strengths this time.
Let's see if they can find that one. Olleh gonna get some wards around this side. Looks like they're setting to set up for the Cloud Drake as Pobelter's pushed in the bot lane, and Hauntzer right now spotted top side. Now Flame will join this lane. They'll both have the TP if they want to. Be part of the fight, that is. Right now, not yet going for the Cloud Drake, but Immortals have the pressure on the two lanes that sets up the Drake, so it's just a matter of when they decide to go for it. Or when the Herald gets picked up to go for the mid lane. Xmithie waiting in the wings, not gonna go for it yet. Now they're looking at the river.
They do want to continue to try and set up plays. They will reach a point where the Gnar does win the split push against the Rumble handily.
Looking at the plan, COrki. Are they going to be there in time? Bjergsen's got package. He's almost ungankable as a result. Slowed down doesn't matter though. Walks away.
Yeah, even able to hold on to it, doesn't use it there. He's going to still go back to base though.
Yeah. This wave clear. Very easy for Cody Sun to clear things away defensively.
One of the small drawbacks of Rift Herald is that you don't have access to your trinket, and Xmithie, okay, now he uses it and he's able to use his sweeper, but they were missing out on one of those sweepers.
Another dangerous usage of the Rift Herald trying to get it close to the turret. This will take it down.
More damage he deals, the less it does in the charge, but yes, the turret will still fall. It turns out the backdoor bonus, and the swipe comes in. Red turret destroyed, courtesy of Xmithie's nearly solo kill
Now
here on Rift Herald.
They can also use, with the extra life the Rift Herald is using here, the distraction to transition into Dragon. This Cloud Drake already underway by Xmithie and should be cleaned up.
Very nicely done. Yeah, it's not going to be much of a problem anymore. Cloud Drake, good single target damage. Xmithie's going to be down to half HP, but it will fall. And Immortals getting themselves that Cloud Drake 17 minutes in. Next one should be Ocean, I believe, if I saw the marker. See if they can keep that pressure on. 4,000 up. Immortals 2-0 on turrets, 4-0 on kills. They've actually completely shut out TSM so far in this game. More to be played, of course, but as you mentioned, Jatt, the best first 15, now the best first 17 Immortals have played so far in this series.
And they've been playing beautifully around that bottom side. Xmithie would have 100% kill participation if he had tapped Biofrost in that first kill. Instead, he was chasing DoubleLift off, which enabled the kill for Olleh and Cody Sun. So those two have really been teaming up in this early game to create a lot of action. But just that 4,000 gold lead is a big one, but they need to turn it into more.
Gonna try to find the stun on a Hauntzer. Flash to just get away from the auto attacks. Olleh cannot land that stun now. A little bit of a chunk there. He's a half HP on this Gnar.
This is 5 members of TSM up to the top side, though, as DoubleLift is coming up the river. They do have teleport on Flame, so Immortals are just trying to play defense and stall, allow Flame to push the minions all the way to the turret before Hauntzer can get back.
Yeah, and that Gnar combined with TSM's wave clear is what TSM needs to fall back on if they want to win this game. Hauntzer can get to that point where he is unanswerable by Flame alone, and that puts Immortals into some pretty difficult decisions and forces them into initiations between Olleh and Xmithie. TSM then has good wave clear with the COrki and the Trist, and has a chance of stalling out the game. So they're shut out now, unless Immortals goes for a really big dive or TSM find a really good initiation. They don't need to look for kills. They just need to keep the gold kind of frozen at 4,000 here and just scale up on the rest of their characters.
Sean's got the Infinity Edge now, so it's starting to move in for this one. You see the regular season stats for how they've done in the early game, and Immortals have been that supreme early game team. TSM able to bounce back more often than not, though. They were the first place regular season team.
That's what we talked about earlier. Like, Immortals was the aggressive team, and TSM was the team play and team fighting team. They neutralized most of their laning phases rather than crush them.
Half HP right now. Cody Sun not really in danger. TP coming in. They won't knock the turret down in time, so Hauntzer can complete this. Pobelter able to kite away, though, and it's mini Gnar, so Hauntzer can't find the engage, and that is a full teleport cooldown down.
Meanwhile, Immortals just disengage very easily there. All summoners are available for them if TSM try and push this.
Careful, Immortals. TSM are coming for you. No one has yet rejoined that bot lane.
The other way around,
Rumble's
Rumble's flanking up.
Tristana's far away. This could be a 5v4. The flash pulvers in a 2. The blade collar as well. A lot of damage to the backline. Hauntzer stays alive, but he's stuck under the turret with the team. Flame wants in, and this one, the double kill comes through with the flame spitter. And Bjergsen can't get the kill just yet. He's pulled back in. Cody Sun getting a kill as well. Now only 2 alive for TSM, but they want onto Xmithie, taking the auto attack, but the charges are down, and the stun's going to land and get him away. 3 for 0 under the turret for Immortals.
DoubleLift was in the mid lane, so Immortals snap. They pull the trigger once again.
They might go Baron.
Baron's up in 5 seconds. Oh, Xmithie is a little bit low, and DoubleLift is still alive with Flash, but they're going right for it. Spike early for the heal.
15 seconds until it comes back up. Xmithie had 2 charges. DoubleLift going to be pretty hard to steal this one as long as they play it right around the smite. They don't burst it down too fast. They knock down the vision, and DoubleLift just going to run away. So, one of the fastest Barons in LCS Finals history, 2017. And Immortals at exactly this year looking for a championship.
And Flame on this Rumble is dishing out the damage with the assistance of their front line, keeping people in place on top of these ultimates. It is absolutely insane. He's destroying TSM.
It's beautiful to watch. The first Rumble game Flame has played this split, but the CC chain on top of the Equalizer. Watch this. Olleh gets the pulverize.
Oh, man.
Xmithie gets the stun on the Equalizer, which is a Leandri's rank 2 Equalizer. He then flashes the wall to burn the rest of TSM down, and it is a stomp for Immortals in that top lane.
It's always the coordination with this team. They immediately, as soon as they see DoubleLift clearing minions in the mid lane, pull the trigger, go for the engage. Olleh doesn't hesitate. Everyone follows up, and they're able to get complete victory there. Baron buff now, we'll see how much they can get.
Yeah, we talk about bouncing back, forgetting what happened in the previous game. Immortals was in a position to contend for that third game. They lost it. They pushed them to the brink of elimination. They are bouncing back in a big way.
They really are. This turret likely to fall as well. There's still no one to defend this one. 9,000 gold puts Immortals ahead as this turret falls. And Flame on a champion he hasn't played all split, never received a ban, nothing, is hard carrying.
Yo, Flame can rumble. No matter if he's played it recently or not, he is crushing this one.
Doing beautifully for himself. We'll see if the pressure can continue. Bot lane under a lot of pressure right now. Cody Sun gets the damage. Olleh there to push people back if they need it. Turret falls. 122 minutes looking for more. The Immortals have still shut out TSM so far in this game. No, one turret did finally fall in the top lane. I take that back, so TSM on the board somewhere, but the Immortals are going to knock down the inhibitor under 22 minutes. They've knocked that one down. Stun to land, auto attacks in there as well. Out they go over the wall. Still no way to really speak of as the turret's still taking attacks.
I mean, the Lucian mid, Baron buff power spike, right? They have time to free hit the turrets with the huge Baron minions this early in the game before TSM has the wave clear for it. A massive Baron power play already, extending that lead to 10,000 gold.
Olleh on his Alistar. Xmithie on his Sejuani. It's funny for some people, but that is a signature pick for him.
It is.
And he is absolutely crushing it. The front line here just does so much work. And that's why, you know, the credibility here for this team is always spread out. Pobelter on the Lucian that was banned so many times in the front, you know, at the beginning of this series, actually hasn't been a part of a lot of these kills. They've been happening around him, around the map.
To be fair to Pobelter, he has kept Bjergsen pushed in a fair bit of this game. The Lucian, favorable matchup, banned out most of the series, a priority pick for Immortals coming in to this fourth game. Really trying to send this to game 5.
And the power spikes are in. Immortals on 2 items basically everywhere in this. Flame does go for defensive boots to the Mercury Treads just to survive what could be hard engage at a Gragas and Rakan. Make sure you can hold on to the front line. Turret's gonna fall, that's number 7. Mid or top lane, what's the next objective here for Immortals? They're on for still those 30 seconds. They've got that one last wave to work with. To the top lane they go. A little bit of damage into Bjergsen. Xmithie pulls aggro.
Yeah, he's already got Warmogs though, so turret shots while rotating between lanes are irrelevant. He will heal it on the way back to the next one.
And he's back to full HP as you mentioned, just waiting for the Arctic Armor, but that's going to be soon enough. 2 smites available if he needs that for the heal. So they're slowed by a barrel, but this top lane turret under fire with the last Baron wave they've got. It times out here. A little bit of damage with the culling, and actually Biofrost down to 1/3.
Just going back and forth, timing the minion waves so they're always getting chip damage in on each one. Baron now down, but they look for engage.
They force Bjergsen's Valkyrie out, which buys him a few more seconds to knock the turret down. Some damage is there. The autos come in. There's that one picked off. Hauntzer back to Gnar. Means he is not a threat right now. Hexbreaker and a Cleaver not threatening enough, but the charge is going to come in. The double knockup is there. Can they bring the targets? Yes, they get Cody Sun. He was never able to get away with it. Flash and the Featherstorm still available. So now the chase is in. Cody Sun losing the ultimate. Looking for the number 2 kills. They can't quite get Biofrost. He heals back up. Zonia's in Flame puts out so much damage, but a triple body slam lands, and Flame is gonna follow shutdown. The reset's coming in, Exhaust is in, the flash to follow. A double kill in for DoubleLift as he wants to take this game over.
Are you kidding me? Let me remind you, that was a 7-0 game where Immortals had a 20-minute Baron. TSM pulled the trigger there though, Biofrost gets the charm, and they get a team fight victory and a Drake.
They had a 10,000 gold deficit, Kobe. That's the only thing you didn't mention. They get the immediate kill onto Cody Sun, and oftentimes, when you're down 10,000 gold, no matter how good your initiation, you're just not gonna have the gold to kill someone, but they barely do. They sustain the fight throughout, they get the squishy targets down. They keep themselves just barely alive in this game.
And remember, they chose to engage this when Hauntzer is exhausted on Gnar. He's just a mini Gnar on the side. So that's Biofrost who gets the big initiation. Svenskeren gets the cast into Body Slam follow-up, and then they disengage off the Rumble Ultimate.
Exactly. For the first time, the Rumble Ultimate does not hit the carries. That means Bjergsen and DoubleLift continue to free hit here. Zonius holds him in place. Another 3-man Body Slam from Svenskeren, and that allows DoubleLift to flash and rocket jump for a couple kills.
Those 3 pickup puts the game to an 8,000 gold difference. An Ocean picked up for TSM, that mid lane outer turret as well. And you saw that 0 from Cody Sun. It was a perfect CC chain.
Even with that big team fight victory though, still, the state of the game is Immortals favored. They retain the large majority of the lead and they're back inside the base.
Looking for that mid lane inhibitor. Bot lane was already dead. Keep in mind, one Nexus turret already fell because of that dead inhibitor in the bot lane during the previous fight. So the turret actually was an equal trade in that fight. Mid lane outer for Nexus. I'll take Nexus any day of the week. So very few defensive structures left in that TSM base.
Xmithie heals up to full with the Warmogs again after getting poked on the first assault. Immortals just relentless.
Gnar is threatening, but keep in mind Cody Sun has all his defensive tools available except for the heal. Biofrost, no flash. See if he can find his way in though. There have been some good engages out of TSM before in situations that maybe weren't supposed to get them. Inhibitor down. Bot still to respawn. Top last one left.
TSM opt to delay rather than trying an all-out fight there. Immortals very cautious to make sure their carries were safe behind tanks during that assault.
And it looks like Immortals are going to reset for Baron now. That's up in 20 seconds, and instead of sieging for top lane or the repeat kill in the bot lane right now, they're going to send their players, at least some of them, back to look for the wards to go for Baron.
Right, Immortals want to catch TSM in the open field where they can run them down. The boots and mobility Alistar with Righteous Glory, the Sejuani who can chain the CC, and the tight corridors of the jungle where Flame can get them with the Equalizer. They don't want to fight in the base again where it's open inside for TSM and confined for Immortals who's trying to siege.
Respawn of the bottom lane
Olleh
inhibitor, but Olleh's in!
Gets the package out, though doesn't lose much. The Courage Shield absorbs the damage out, but here Hauntzer halfway to Gnar. Finds Xmithie for some damage. They don't see him over the wall, though. It's all skill shots. But he's close to getting that Gnar. Gigantic crowd control ultimate. Things to be afraid of for Immortals. Void Staff done for Flame. He can do some damage. Xmithie gonna find a slow on a Sven. Half HP Gragas.
TSM trying to kite around until Biofrost gets the cooldown on his flash as well. Immortals trying to press it forward. Baron is available for them to bait with.
And Immortals clear the wards away. Control ward over the wall. And they know there's no sight in there. Just that blue trinket that's killed right now. So it's darkness. Cody Sun gonna find Sven for a 1v1. As long as he's got the reflexes, he can dodge away. Olleh, what's he gonna find? Looks towards Biofrost. They don't quite get the slow, but Xmithie could go for the ulti. And he whiffs it!
Sidestep by Bio, they're still
They
going
have the slow, but he gets away with the grand entrance, but into the mid lane, Immortals could go. The wave, though, was cut out. Sven and DoubleLift knocked down the minions, so there was no way to knock down the Nexus turret. That was a heads-up play right there by that TSM duo.
TSM buying time, and DoubleLift Scrying Orb is now available, so even if they go back to the Baron, they would be able to scout it.
Instead, it's top lane, though. They got the wave. It was set up earlier by Flame.
Gnar still trying to run over, does not have Mega currently.
This is the only inhibitor with a turret up. They're going to go for the charm. They find one on a Cody Sun, on a Pobelter rather. He's going to be okay for now. Can he jump back? He's going to be fine. And here comes the re-engage. The equalizer comes across, but the first kill comes into Hauntzer. He knocks down Pobelter. Equalizer buys some space, but Hauntzer building up some rage. He might get himself a little bit more in this one. A nice root stops Sven for now, but Xmithie's running out of help.
Frozen
Still dies with a Hurricane. The Hurricane with a Hyper. And a 5v3, TSM could look for more.
TSM keep pulling out these team fights from a massive deficit, 2 down on Immortals, and they might look to force around Baron with this 5v3.
Crunch burned by Hauntzer, doesn't actually get away. I believe that was the crunch, not the transform. 5v3.
They don't have a lot of time. Minions are flooding into their base, so TSM have to force it now.
And they're all pretty low on health right now. Cody Sun's got to watch out. He's got the ulti available. Look at CC up, gets away with it though. And the first kill might come through. A flash to stay safe. The chase. Bjergsen gets the kill. DoubleLift it is. Actually with the damage up with 2 kills picked up. No trade for Flame. He's going to lose his life. It's the ace for TSM from a 10,000 gold deficit. It's 8 straight kills and now the Baron.
Unbelievable comeback so far for TSM.
They even have time to teleport Hauntzer back to the base and defend the Nexus turret. Such close timers there for TSM. They continue to get these victories.
It all starts with the initiation in the top lane for this entire sequence. Biofrost combined with Svenskeren are knocking these Immortals carries around. Flash gets him, Cask gets him deeper, and then Hauntzer finishes him with the final auto attack post-dash away for the first kill.
TSM denying club access here to Immortals, not wanting them to get a banner in the North American LCS studios. Hauntzer fights them off, they chase them down. They have to start this Baron up. The minions only have to go through one more wave. Sven goes in to start it off with the body slam.
The Xayah ultimate, not enough, doesn't get to pull the feathers back as he's knocked away from the fight, and Flame can't burn them down enough. That was so close to being a huge turnaround if Cody Sun gets that Feather Storm off.
Hauntzer and DoubleLift both jumped right there onto Olleh and got knocked up, but there wasn't enough damage to finish them off, and TSM fight back once again.
And even though TSM are fighting back, they're still battling a 3,000 gold deficit. They're still not ahead in items or levels right now. Immortals get this Ocean Drake on the reset and everything else, but TSM, with a 2-minute left Baron buff, can look to close this gap a bit closer.
It goes to show how gargantuan that lead was. 2-1 team fights of Baron and still a 3,000 gold deficit. And it's not like Immortals has terrible scaling, but with the way the team fights have been going, TSM hold all the momentum and confidence moving forward. The initiation quality has been so high for TSM, it's been able to win them fights that they have no business winning. So now it's on much more equal ground, and if they get more initiations like they have been, the game would be over.
They're looking for him here. TSM push up their side lane first, transition into mid, and look for another outer turret.
Xmithie on the wings, Svenskeren on the front line, looking for the auto attacks here as Bjergsen and DoubleLift both have to respect some of the engaged tools, but this will be a lot of damage. Nice little body slam actually keeps DoubleLift safe, but Olleh's running out of health, pops the ultimate. Xmithie on the back line, nice explosive gas, brings them in, doesn't quite get Pobelter, but Olleh nearly dead. The redemption! And it's gone! Neutral from orbit! Biofrost with the supportal comeback kill! And DoubleLift gonna almost knock down this turret himself.
What can't he do? Biofrost has been on fire this series.
30 seconds of 5v4. Bruins fans know all about power plays in this one. How much can they get? Is the turret's going to fall? TSM look for their first inhibitor. Not much of a contest right now for Immortals. That will drop. TSM now up in gold for the first time in half an hour.
Also 9 consecutive kills after Immortals started 7-0. The first inhibit of the game. Olleh still down. TSM decide to take a quick break and reset.
Immortals have to stabilize right now. Time is running out. This is the backs against the walls. Gold even now. TSM taking over, and the time is running out.
Yeah, and looking at Immortals, they are constantly getting initiated on when they are the team that has the ability to initiate. That's how they got their lead in the first place. It was Olleh and Xmithie chaining CC on top of the equalizer. They have to find that fight. Flame is level 16. He's got his Void Staff. It has to happen now. Otherwise, TSM is going to continue to shred down these turrets. They too have multiple auto attackers who can kill the turrets incredibly quickly. And now an even bigger lead with that outer turret.
TSM have cashed in that gold. They've all recalled back and bought their items. More of the base is falling, and of course they've got the middle inhibitor dead as well. So they've got more of the map under their control now as bot lane takes some damage down to half HP. This turret will just fall with the rest of this. Minions not required, the damage is in. 2,000 gold up for TSM. They've yet to spend it, but they are still powerful right now. No Dragon for a little while, no Baron either. It's all about the structures or a long delay.
Now the map is super open, but it's also at the point with the Frozen Mallet onto Hauntzer that he's a split pushing force. It forces Immortals to try and find a fight. I mean, the fact that TSM even shows their face here is a little bit dangerous, not wanting to allow Immortals to get to open inhibitors, but Hauntzer's going at it down bottom.
Split push taking effect here. Turret's starting to go down, and Immortals are racing for defense, but TSM are going to beat him here.
Okay, well, Bjergsen's around. Headbutt's not going to be able to land. The boomerang slowing him down, and Flame chunked a little as well. Hauntzer ready for the Mega Gnar here. He's going to transform, and it'll be a window that both these teams know about and need to play around. The ward's killed off on both sides. The siege will pick up where it left off. TSM back with that gold lead. Mega Gnar ends up. Is that going to be the go sign for Immortals? Right now it's been killing off wards. TSM backing off without the threat of that Mega Gnar. Xmithie wants in for the slow on Sven. No ulti just yet though, pushed right back out. Loses the passive.
Yeah, vision is the first step in trying to find that initiation to bring themselves back in the game, but they need to find a way of moving Hauntzer from that lane down bottom. That's going to be a much bigger problem in 1 minute 30 seconds when Baron respawns.
It's too difficult now. He's level 18 on the Gnar. We saw how easily he was able to chase down the front line of Immortals. No one person can answer this split push.
He is tanky. He's hard to deal with. He's got attack damage as well. Not much Hauntzer can't do in this one. And we'll see. Everything resets. Elder Dragon and Baron spawning at similar times. Immortals have the better Elder Dragon. They've got an extra one picked up. 18 seconds apart on these objectives. Could be killed that fast. We'll see what happens though. TSM certainly the team with map control. Little inhibitor should be respawning soon. They actually find the pick onto Mega Gnar. Hauntzer back to mid. He's going to get stunned after they have the burst, so they need to get the rest of the damage across. He hops, he flashes, Redemption comes in, but they have the damage output, and at what a timing, he'll be dead for the Baron respawn.
3 people can handle the job though. They jump onto Hauntzer, and what can they do during the death timer?
They did burn a lot of cooldowns there. Having no ultimate on Xmithie and having no flash on the Rumble for that Flame Spitter finish could be huge. They're turning straight for the open inhibitors, but look where DoubleLift is. Down in the top lane right here, trying to push for that turret.
I don't think he can race this, and there's only one Nexus turret. He gets called to recall because the inhibitor is open, and again, there was only one Nexus turret. So how good is TSM's wave clear? It's 25 seconds on Hauntzer, and Immortals say that means Baron for us if they can get there in time. Hauntzer has TP, and Sven has Smite.
What a critical pick by Immortals. Have to emphasize that one more time. Baron alive, 14 seconds. They'd have to rush it. Olleh stays out of the pit. He's looking to peel.
He's looking to peel Sven. He's going to see him with that ward. The headbutt not going to be used just yet. He sees him, push them, but the body slam buys some time, and they don't know how long it's going to be until it falls. He's not going to be in range. Smite comes through, and Olleh about to help. A big explosive cast, but the backline stays alive. Here comes all the damage. Cody Sun gets burnt down by Bjergsen. 2 kills already. Make it a third. Xmithie falls, and 5v2 2, TSM looking to close it.
They can either go down mid lane or even grab an Elder Dragon buff for themselves before they start up, but they're going straight for the Nexus.
Olleh completely sold out to peel that fight, but forgot about the 5v5 that was surely going to happen afterwards. TSM get 3 kills, now they're pushing for the game.
Can Immortals stall long enough? 30 seconds left on Xmithie, 15 on Olleh.
There is 1 minion to break the backdoor bonus. Can they get the shot in?
That minion.
Baron buff,
Actually huge.
The minions die slower, but there's no poke coming through. Pobelter can't land the skill shot, and yes, it's going to be the reset.
They realize with the Baron buff, Immortals can stall it out. So now TSM are going for the Elder Dragon, and they should be able to pick it up. 10 more seconds left on Xmithie.
This is nigh uncontestable. The buff will last about as long as Baron does itself, 2.5. Considering it's been a minute since the Baron had died, and this will not be a contest. It is a weaker Elder Dragon, but still a good buff for TSM.
Yeah, still a good buff, and they'll have a window now to try and push down a second inhibitor. The problem, though, is they have a downed inhibitor of themselves in the mid lane, so it's not like they have that 1 inhib advantage for this push, and it's going to be on Immortals to try and create enough pressure to move this fight away. If TSM gets one more thing towards them, they will become champions, and Immortals has to do everything in their power to prevent it.
Let's take another look at the replay here. Olleh trying to run the defense, trying to stall long enough for them to get Baron.
Meanwhile, Olleh forced to run. Moby's turned off. Pops the ult to stay alive, but that is unbreakable will down. Xmithie on the wrong side of the fight.
Bjergsen's coming behind him.
Bjergsen's coming down as well. They need this battle to start soon, because Xmithie cannot get away from this one. Pops the ult, he gets the stun. Damage on Sven. Big equalizer across the backside as well, but Redemption gonna heal them back up. Sven will stay alive. And Xmithie running out of health. 1 kill picked up. TSM 5v4. They found Cody Sun. They've got 2 kills already, and DoubleLift is jumping for joy, jumping for the kills. And they're gonna pick up the 3rd. 5v2, ready to go.
Rack them up. They're in place this time. The minion wave was cut, though, and the Baron does help Immortals hold. It will be pretty tough for him to hold for this one.
With the wrist getting shot at. DoubleLift.
DoubleLift wants it.
Won't quite kill him. He's gonna stay alive. The wave's up in 20 seconds. The respawn's at about 30.
Hauntzer has had to go back to base to deal with some minions here for TSM, so it's still a 4-man push to end the game.
Turret's going to fall. That's number 1. 23 seconds of Cody Sun. 30 on Flame. Here comes the cannon wave. A 4v3 push.
With Hauntzer back, it makes me think they aren't actually going to overextend here. He's dealing with a quadruple stacked minion wave up there, so TSM get another inhibitor, but Immortals live on.
A little surprised to see TSM not go for broke there. 4v2 actually was the numbers, I do believe, and they sent Hauntzer back. Decided to wait for another one. Baron timing out in 20 seconds, and the Elder Dragon only 20 seconds after that.
Yeah, and these 2 inhibitors down is what TSM is going to try and play off of. And here, it's all a stall game for Immortals, trying to cut the minion wave or find a flank when Bjergsen is back in base. But Immortals gets caught out a little bit early, and Xmithie tries to ad-lib.
This is a rare situation where Immortals look to be a bit disconnected. They wanted to collapse a 5v4, but they didn't have all of their team members in place either. So TSM were the ones to get the numbers advantage. Once they chase down Xmithie, it's an easy chase there for Biofrost. And Flame does delay the reset on DoubleLift's jump here, so DoubleLift doesn't get to chase down the rest of his teammates, but in the end, he goes down all the same.
And the minion wave was so far back. Now, in game 4, we'll have to figure out what the cause is.
Sven!
Spilled water from Hauntzer.
Oh, Hauntzer. All right.
History will have to wait. TSM on the brink of winning a 3rd consecutive championship if they can close it out. But with how close this series have been, if they stumble at some point in game 4, Immortals could just as well win it.
The state of the map says 1 team fight can win the game as long as you're willing to go for the attack. Only 1 Nexus turret defends TSM's, and we know that TSM is inside the Immortals base half the time here.
Let's remind people how close this game was. Immortals had over a 10,000 gold lead early on in this game. They went for a 20-minute, 13-second Baron, yet TSM defended multiple times at their inhibitors to get to this point. And now Hauntzer is the champion of the entire arena, cleaning up water.
Whew. The 6th man, TSM bringing paper towels.
Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean. He's got more hair than him, though. Maybe I should do that pose. Either way, it should be ready to go very, very soon. By the way, the players were allowed to talk during this pause by decree of the refs, so both teams are allowed to chat during these crucial moments to set themselves up for what could be the last team fight of the North American season.
Yeah, game somewhat in a reset state, but 1 inhibitor down for TSM, 2 inhibitors down for Immortals. It's all about minion wave management in this case, and if one team overextends pushing a wave to get flanked, because it's so late in the game right now, and it's not like the Lucian Xayah team can't crush through if they get the initiation. It's just been so many times TSM finding that initiation with the Rakan, followed up by the Gragas explosive cast.
Svenskeren has been really, really accurate with those Gragas ultimates. That definitely does deserve to be shouted out here. He's got multiple re-engages for the team. This time around, though, Immortals have pushed up the minion waves. They're trying to regain territory.
All right, right now it's Pobelter shoving in the bot lane. Of course, it's 2 inhibs down in favor of TSM. Only 1 for Immortals killed off in the mid lane. We'll see who goes for the play first. Flame pushing this one, but Bjergsen's going to push top. He can ride that into the Nexus. Someone has to react at some point, but Immortal's going to say, let's go for bot lane. No turret defends this inhibitor, and it's going to be a recall out of Bjergsen. Doesn't want to race.
Immortals trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here, also cutting the super minions out of this wave, the one wave where there is inhibitor disadvantage for Immortals. If they can find
they find double. They don't find the kill just yet. He gets away. Survives the equalizer. Here comes Redemption to buy the front line some more time. Lock and popped as well. Up they go. Gnar pulls in. Only the takes flame. Gotta run away. 2 kills. He's picked up. The resets and DoubleLift finds himself the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th. The ace for TSM.
Hauntzer teleports to the top side, and he's going to run the minions through the base.
This may be the final victory lap for TSM. This time, the death timers look long enough. Hauntzer has the minion wave, escorting it into the base.
And there's nothing but the AI left to defend. TSM shut the door. They say this is the exclusive club. TD Garden home to so many greats, and TSM cement themselves as the greatest team North America has ever seen. 6 championships in 10 splits. They have never missed a final. They have never missed Worlds, and they are once again your North American champions.
What a comeback in that game. Immortals were knocking at the doorstep. 10,000 gold up. Inhibitors already destroyed.
And the momentum swing was so stark. It was 7 kills to 0. It ended 8 kills to 20.
Team fight after team fight after team fight executed by TSM.
20-1 straight in kills, and there is a moment these players will share yet another time. Bjergsen's 5th. TSM once again, North American champions at the end of summer. 3 in a row for the white and black.
And also, Biofrost, so clutch this series. Rakan, 3 of the 4 games. Initiation after initiation. It wasn't long ago he was the rookie and you were wondering if he was going to be able to step up to the pressure. He absolutely did today.
I actually talked with Reginald on Friday before the game started and said there's a reason that TSM never missed the finals. It's the infrastructure, setting up these players for success, whether you're bringing in rookies, importing them from Europe, Korea, who knows where. TSM, a continued legacy of greatness and dominance, never below top 2 in North America, this time #1.
It's unbelievable, really. 6 out of 10 splits being champions, and every single split for 5 consecutive years.
The first team to ever win spring and summer as well. TSM setting all of the records.
And you wonder if this ever gets broken. No team has ever been this dominant. TSM, of course, still feeling happy, and now it's time for Riv to get a word with Bjergsen in the mid lane.